Welcome to the channel. Today we are going to analyze Geography 2019 prelims question paper. We will do a detailed analysis on how to answer these questions and let us see the difficulty level of various questions being asked in the examination. Now before starting the analysis, I want to let you know that we have started a Prelims 2020 mentorship program, guys, where you will be given a planner, tracker, and strategy which will be useful to you, which will guide you till the preliminary examination 2020. You'll be given daily MCQs based on planner, and your doubts will be cleared on a daily basis, and your performance will be analyzed on a weekly basis to know your status, and you'll be given various inputs to improve your performance and ultimately clear the preliminary examination, guys. You can contact this number. Advise you to utilize this opportunity to let you clear the preliminary examination. And now let us start Geography 2019 preliminary questions analysis. Now first let us take this question, guys. In this question actually it is being asked, to match between a river which is flowing through the famous city or place. They have given three places and rivers where you need to match them accordingly. See, in this sort of questions, actually, if you know only two, it is difficult to answer. Why? Because you need to choose between any of the two options where the probability of marking the correct answer is only 50%. So if you know all the three, then only it is better to proceed in the first round. Otherwise, you just postpone it to the second round, where all these round sort of things actually we discussed in our prelims exam answering strategy, which is available in the Telegram channel. You can go there, join the channel, and you can download it and study it. So if you know all the three and if you're confident, then only you can mark actually in the first round. So now let us analyze these three actually. So they have given Pandarpur, the river Chandrabhaga is flowing through Pandarpur, and river Kaveri is flowing through Tiruchirappalli, and Malaprabha is flowing through Hampi. Okay, now let us see how these rivers are flowing exactly, through which all places. Let us see. See, Chandrabhaga River, actually it is another name for Bhima River, which is again a tributary of River Krishna, which flows in both Maharashtra and Karnataka. It is passing through Pandarpur. Coming to Kaveri, it actually passes through Tiruchirappalli city, and it actually empties into Bay of Bengal just after the Tiruchirappalli city only. Coming to actually Malaprabha, it is again a tributary of Krishna, where it actually joins River Krishna in Balakot districts, that is in upper Karnataka. And coming to Hampi, actually, Hampi is again a historical city where the Tungabhadra river is flowing, and it is again another tributary of River Krishna. Now, after seeing all this data, you can come to know, you can answer this question actually. So, definitely, yeah, Pandarpur, yeah, Chandrabhaga is flowing through Pandarpur, which is Bhima, and Kaveri is flowing through Trichy, but when it comes to Hampi, actually, Malaprabha is not flowing through Hampi actually. So Tungabhadra is flowing through Hampi. By this, we can conclude that 1 and 2 are right, and the third option is wrong. So actually, if you know only 3, then only you can attempt this question, guys. If you know 2, actually, it is better to skip in the first round. These sort of questions. Coming to next question, it is being given like on June 21st, the sun. What happens to sun actually? Like this, we will be here. We are being given 4 options. Now let us analyze actually what is on June 21st. What is the position of sun? Where it will be there on the on the map of Earth. Let us see actually first these things, and then again come back to options to answer the question. So on June 21st, it is actually summer solstice, where sun will be present in northern hemisphere. That is, it is at sun is at Tropic of Cancer. So when sun is at Tropic of Cancer, what happens at Arctic? Actually, Arctic experiences summer. Arctic, it will be experiencing 6 months summer and 6 months winter. So when sun is in northern hemisphere, during this period, it will be having continuously. When sun is actually crosses the equator, coming to Tropic of Cancer, and again going back to equator, all these 6 months it will experience, Arctic will experience summer, and vice versa. Yeah, happens during winter season when sun is in southern hemisphere. Okay, that means actually in on June 21st, what happens actually is Arctic experiences summer, and sun doesn't set below horizon in the Arctic, in the sense there will be sunlight. There will be sunlight in Arctic. So coming by knowing all these things, now let us go and actually analyze the options. So it is being given like four options were given. So sun doesn't set below horizon at the Arctic and doesn't set below horizon at Antarctic. Shines vertically overhead at noon on the equator. Shines vertically overhead at the Tropic of Capricorn. So by actually coming to know all this information, definitely you can figure out that the first one is the option. Yes, first one is the option. Okay, sun doesn't set below the horizon at Arctic Circle. This is actually an easy question, guys. If you might be reading about all these solicitors in from the basic NCERTs, you can easily answer this question. It is not that difficult. Now let us see third question. What is common to the places known as Aliyar, Isapur, and Kangsabati? Actually, by hearing all these names only, you might feel something strange about these places. Yeah, actually, you will not be coming across these sort of places in basically through our standard NCERTs and standard books regarding geography, and also usually current affairs also you might not be coming these many sort of places. If you come across these sort of places also, actually you need to figure out the common thing. That is the difficult part here. So definitely, yeah, this is a somewhat difficult question to answer. But yeah, let us see, let us analyze by googling all these three places. Let us analyze like what all these places are actually famous for. Okay, see, take the case of Aliyar. If you Google, if just simply Google, you'll be getting Aliyar Reservoir. Aliyar Reservoir, which is in Tamil Nadu, and Aliyar River near Polachi actually, which is again a tourist place. Okay, even if you Google Isapur, you'll come to know about it has a dam. Isapur Dam is there on Penganga River in Maharashtra. Penganga, which is again a tributary of Godavari. And Kangsabati, again, there is a dam on Kangsabati River in West Bengal. So after knowing all these things, now you can figure out like the common things about all these places is basically they are all water reservoirs. So usually it is very difficult to mark these sort of questions, guys. So it is better to leave, as we might not be knowing about all these three places. It is better to leave these sort of questions. Usually in geography, the questions will be like you will be getting at least half of the questions. Only half of the questions you might be getting from the static part. Remaining half of the questions there will be like application part. There will be dynamic, and there will be like puzzles. Like you need to figure out based on options, based on the places what you have learned. You need to figure out from the options the answers. It is somewhat difficult because it will be like a puzzle to answer all these sort of questions. So better thing is you need to pool as many places as possible, prior to the examination, and know about what is the place known for, or what is it famous for. That is how you can actually can armor all your places, and then based on that you can actually figure out whether if you know it you can answer. Otherwise you can leave it these sort of questions. Now let us see the next question. Why are dewdrops not formed on a cloudy night? Why are dewdrops not formed on a cloudy night? Okay, now first of all, let us analyze what are dewdrops, and what happens on a cloudy night. Then definitely, then you can go for and check the options based on which you can figure out the correct answer. Yeah, actually, dewdrops are like they are like small droplets, formed on the surface, actually on the surface of the soil, on plants, or on all landforms during a night time, when there is a cool temperature, actually when the temperature is very low, and when there are clear skies, and when there is some light breeze or wind, that is known as a dew actually. Okay, so on cloudy skies, actually what happens on on the day when you have a cloudy sky, it will actually cloudy skies, actually on a cloudy night, basically if you take cloudy nights are warmer than cloudy days, so the temperature will be high. Why? Because it will actually clouds actually it will reflect back what are being radiation that is being went to into the atmosphere. Actually, it will be reflected back. Clouds actually reflect the long wave radiation, and this increases the temperature. So as the temperature increases, there are lesser chance for formation of dew on a cloudy night. Okay, this is the thing. Now let us check the options. So why are dewdrops not formed on a cloudy night? See, clouds reflect back the Earth's radiation. When they are reflecting back the Earth's radiation, the temperature is increasing, which is not favorable for the formation of dew. Okay, even this question is easy to mark. Why? Because all these things, like dewdrops and about all these things are available in climatology part, of fundamentals of physical geography NCERT. If you go through that, you can easily answer this sort of question, guys. Okay, now let us see another question. So there, these pairs of river and glacier pairs are being given. It is not one, two, three, but five pairs are being given. You need to analyze five pairs. See, seeing the five things, actually you'll come to know it is very difficult. If three are there, it is somewhat easier to figure out the right option. But here five things are there, so you should know about five glaciers and also these river combinations, which is again a difficult thing for us. Usually we will not go through this many things usually, like this many glacier and river combinations. No, but let us see first of all these five all these glaciers, like from which are river it is being originated. Let us see and let us analyze the options, and you mark the right option. So Siachen Glacier, actually, if you take it actually goes through Nubra River actually, and Nubra River is formed out of it, and there is a valley called Nubra Valley also. A lot of people who actually goes to this Ladakh, and who goes through Ladakh might be knowing about this sort of this Nubra Valley actually, because it is nearer to that. So Siachen Glacier, it is actually Nubra River and valley are both related to it. Now taking the case of Bandarpunch, actually Bandarpunch is again is a mountain hill actually, and where from this Bandarpunch glacier originates and it joins Yamuna. Okay, it is in Uttarakhand. Coming to Milam Glacier, actually it is nearer to Nanda Devi again in Uttarakhand. It is a source of actually Gori Ganga River. Gori Ganga River. In case of Mandakini River, the Chorabari Glacier, actually Chorabari Glacier it comes and joins Mandakini River. This Chorabari Glacier, it is formed starts from just above Kedarnath temple in Uttarakhand. Coming to case of Bara Shigri Glacier, actually it is located in Himachal Pradesh, so it actually feeds the Chenab river. And in case of Jammu Glacier, it actually originates downstream of Kanchenjunga, where Tista River originates from this glacier. And in case of Manas actually originates in Tibet. It flows through Bhutan and it enters into India. Okay, these are the this is the basic basic things about all these glaciers and the rivers being given in the question. Now let us see whether they are being matched correctly or not. What all being matched correctly and what all being matched wrong. Let us see. See, actually, yeah, we have seen that Bandarpunj actually, yeah, it is related to Yamuna, and Barashigiri, it is actually, yeah, it is related to Chenab. In Milam, actually, it is not related to Mandakini, where Siachen Nubra River is related to it, and Jammu, actually, it is related to Tista River, not Manas. So coming after knowing all these things, we can mark like first option, where 1, 2 and 4 are right. So this is actually very difficult to attempt this sort of question, guys. Okay, but as you came to know about this, better to learn about some glaciers and river combinations which can be useful for 2020 examination. Now let us see the next question. Which among the following, which one is asking, like, what is the largest exporter, of which country is the largest exporter in the world for the last 5 years in rice, as far as rice is concerned? Okay, last 5 years, it is not even last year also, last 5 years. China, India, Myanmar and Vietnam, 4 options are being given. Actually, if you analyze last 5 years data, first analyze 2019 data. Actually 2019 data, by 2019 data, India is the largest exporter, which contributes to 32.5% of global rice exports, and second it is Vietnam, third China, and not third China exports for 4.8%, and Myanmar it is like 2.6%. Okay, these are all like 2019 statistics. But if you analyze all the 5 years statistics also, India actually stands first, where it varies between something like 28 to again 33%. Okay, so by this we can conclude that India is the largest exporter of rice in the world. Okay, but the thing is, like, being answering about these questions in examination hall, you can confuse between like two options between India and China, and you might not be in a position to mark in the first to go. If you know it exactly, you can mark it. Otherwise, most of the times actually you will not be reading about usually global exporters. Like you will be reading mostly about global producers only. So from now onwards, actually, you can take for major crops. You can take you can read about the global exporters, who are the global exporters, and who are the global large importers. Especially they are being, if it is being concerned to India, you can take it note of it, and you can use it, prepare it for prelims 2020 examination. Okay, these sort of questions, if we get confused between like China and India, it is again of moderate difficulty. It is not, we cannot say even easy also. because you might confuse between two options. Okay. Now let us take the seventh question. So various seas are being given and the bordering countries are also being given. Usually in preparation you will be taking atlas and you will be taking note of various seas and its bordering countries. If you do that exercise and if you have revised, actually this question will be an easy one for you. Otherwise it will be of moderate difficulty. If you might be knowing why, because you are actually five are being given, five seas are being given. So you might, if you are knowing about three, actually by options actually you can figure it out, the right one if you know at least three. Okay. Now first of all let us see all these seas and what are the bordering countries are there. Then you can come for verifying these pairs, and then we can mark the right option. Coming to case of Adriatic Sea, these are all the countries, guys, which border Adriatic Sea. That is Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, Italy, Montenegro, and Slovenia. This is again northern or Mediterranean Sea. Okay, before answering this question, guys, before if who is watching this video, actually you can pause this video and you can take the atlas and you can go to Adriatic Sea and once check all the countries actually, and then come and you can play the video so that it will be a sort of revision exercise for you. Okay, so these are all the countries bordering Adriatic Sea. Coming to the case of Black Sea, it is locked between these countries. Actually, Black Sea is being locked between all these countries like Romania, Turkey, Bulgaria, Ukraine, Russia, and Georgia. In case of Caspian Sea, it is to the right of Black Sea, where the bordering countries are like Azerbaijan, Iran, Kazakhstan, Russia, and Turkmenistan. Mediterranean Sea, you see, Mediterranean Sea is bordering a lot of countries, guys. These are all the countries being bordered by Mediterranean Sea, like see, if you see, many countries are there from Asia, Europe, and also Africa, like Spain, France, Monaco, Italy, Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Albania, Greece, Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco. While Malta and Cyprus are like island countries, that exist in the sea. Coming to the case of Red Sea, you can take a look on eastern shore. Actually, you have Saudi Arabia and Yemen, as far as West Asia is concerned. And coming to western shore, actually Egypt, Sudan, Eritrea, and Djibouti are the countries which are part of Africa. Now, what all being given in the options? Let us see. So, Adriatic Sea, Albania is given. Yeah, that is true. Coming to case of Black Sea, Croatia is given. Go to Black Sea actually. Croatia, actually no, Croatia is not bordering. So definitely that is wrong. Caspian Sea, Kazakhstan is one of the bordering countries, and Mediterranean Sea, yes, Morocco from Africa is one of the bordering countries. And as far as Red Sea is concerned, Syria is not the one. Only Saudi Arabia and Yemen are part from are part of it from Asia part. So Syria is not the right option. So with this we can say like 1, 3, and 4 are the right options. This is again a modern difficulty, because you should know all these 5 seas and all these bordering countries actually. And if you take the case of Mediterranean Sea, there are a lot of countries bordering it, so it is somewhat difficult to remember all these things. So better thing is actually you take note of all the famous seas, the bordering countries, and this sort of question can be repeated even in 2020 examination, which will be useful to you. Okay, that's fine. Now let us go for the next question. Consider the following statements about particularly vulnerable tribal groups in India. Actually, this question, it can be in geography. I'm taking it part of geography. It can be even part of economy and even social development, where it can be part of it also. But some geography related stuff is also present in the question, because of which I put it in under geography head. So it is being okay. Now, see, actually, let us first of all read these options. Actually, PVTG resides in 18 states and 1 union territory. That is the thing they have been given. And a stagnant or declining population is one of the criteria for determining PVTG status. So there are actually some criteria for declaring some tribe as a PVTG. Okay, this is one of the criteria that is being given in the question actually. Now they are again saying there are 95 PVTGs officially notified in the country so far. And Urular and Kondaredi tribes are included in the list of PVTGs. Okay, these are the 4 things being given. Again, this can be considered as a difficult question. Why? Because we will not be reading in much detail about PVTG in our preliminary preparation. In this much detail we will not be reading actually. For geography optional people, these things they might be reading. So it is difficult for general GS prelims preparation. But let us see. Let us fetch some data from the website of Tribal Affairs Ministry, and let us see whether all these statements given are correct or not. Okay, actually see, there are 75 tribal groups being categorized as categorized by Ministry of Home Affairs as PVTG, particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Okay, but in a option it is being given 95, and they reside in 18 states and union territory of Andaman Nicobar. This is true. The criteria to determine PVTG are actually they have around 4 criteria. That is a pre-agricultural level of technology should be there, a stagnant or declining population. This is being given in the option, and extremely low literacy and a subsistence level of economy. These are the 4 criteria to identify a tribe as a PVTG. And Kondreddy tribes actually they are present in Andhra. They reside in Andhra Pradesh, where Irula or Irula. So both names actually they can be called by Buddhist names. They're actually present in Tamil Nadu. So by knowing all these things, now let us see the options what all are correct. So actually, yeah, the third one is wrong where it is actually 75. It is not 95 that is being totally notified till now. So this is actually somewhat difficult to attempt, guys, because usually you will not be doing these things, in your GS preliminary preparation. You will not go in this much detail like 95 or 75 or 18 plus 1. This is how you will not go usually. And tribes also, okay, you might not be. There are 75 tribes, right? They might give anything out of 75, which is again difficult to attempt. If you know, definitely attempt it. Otherwise, it is better to leave. These sort of questions. Now these are all the 8 questions actually which we are being asked from geography. So overall, actually, if we analyze this, geography questions, guys, see, easy, very easy in the sense if we by reading NCRTs, which we can figure it out, there are only 2 questions of that sort in 2019 paper. Moderate, why? Because I'm telling you, a bit confusing between like 2 options, like sort of questions are again 2 are there, which you can mark them for round 2. Like after attempting, the questions which you are all confident about, then you can again go for a round 2 where you are confusing between 2 options. Such sort of questions like which is a moderate difficulty where you're confusing between 2 options are actually like such sort of questions are 2 in number, and difficult in the sense it is difficult to attempt because you need to choose between 3 and even sometimes all 4 options also. Such sort of questions are like 4 are there in geography. Usually in geography, again I said in the start of my video that questions, half of the questions will be in the form of puzzles where you need to actually will be like dynamic and you need to answer them based on the data or whatever the content you have done in your preparation. You need, based on the data you need to again take the you need to actually verify the options and you need to attempt based on that in the examination hall. So basically it is better to, for geography preparation, prelims preparation is concerned, it is better you actually fetch as many places and know the importance of those places. And there are some patterns actually which I'll be taking up in the coming videos, actually some patterns in the form of like important national parks or like biosphere reserves and countries bordering various seas. And again there are some patterns again like countries which are passing through equator, passing through tropic of cancer like this, and again largest producer, importer, and also exporter of important crops, especially as far as India is concerned, where India is actually the major participant. You need to take actually all these patterns before the exam. You need to revise it in a number of times so that that is going to help you to figure out right options as far as marking the right answer is being concerned. Okay, this is all for geography analysis, guys. In the coming video series we'll be taking up the remaining areas, and it is okay. This is all for geography. Thank you. Subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon, guys. Now you can join IAS personal mentor telegram channel where you'll be given all the updates regarding the videos, and also you'll be being posted about important information and data related to civil services examination, both prelims and mains. Okay, if anyone is interested, you can join about prelims 2020 mentorship program. It will be definitely good. It will help you to crack preliminary examination, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good day.